Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Liaqat Zaman and this is the series on Mukhtasar al-Quduri, a famous classical text on Hanafi fiqh, and it's one of the most important ones that you can study in the Hanafi syllabus of Hanafi texts. So without any delay, let's start with the text then. So now we've reached the chapter of wiping over the leather socks, right? So we're just going to explain the word. So bab means chapter, as you guys all know. Al-Masah means to wipe or wiping, and Khuffain means leather socks, and it's times 2. Khuffain, so leather socks, it has to be made from leather to be called khuf. So al-Masu al-Khuf jaizun, it means permissible, allowed, jaiz. Sunnah means the practice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hadath means minor impurity, minor ritual impurity. Hadath, right? And the opposite of that would be the major ritual impurity. Mujib, awjaba yujibu, ijab, it means to make necessary, to make and necessitates, to make necessary. Mujib. And then you have the word wudu. Guess what the word wudu means? Labisa yalbasu, it means to be worn or to wear. Now, don't get this confused with labasa yalbisu, which means to mix. Yeah. La talbisu al-haqqa bil-batil, the Quran says. So this is to wear. Tahara, you should know that by now. Ahdatha yuhdithu ihdath, from the word if'al, which means to go into the state of minor ritual impurity, to become in the state of hadath, basically. Muqiman is aqama yuqimu iqamatan, if'al. It means to be a resident, muqim. So if you're a muqim, you're basically a resident. You're living in a city. You're not a traveler, opposite of traveler. Masaha yamsahu, right? So we said this before. It means to wipe. Okay, to wipe. Masaha. Yawman, it means a day. Laylatan, it means a night. Then we have musafir, which is the opposite of muqim, which means a traveler. Masaha, again, we've done that. Thalatha, 3. Ayyam is the plural of yawm, right? So that means days. And layali is the plural of layla, which means nights. Okay, so this is the explanation of the words. You can kind of work out yourselves now, I would say. Pause it here, have a go yourselves, try to work out the translation of it. And honestly, I mean, that's how you're going to learn how to read Arabic texts. Just figure out the words, and then the rest, you kind of like a combination lock. You just put words together and try to come up with what the meaning is. Bab is the mudaf, al-masa is the mudaf ilayhi, ala is jar, khuffain is majroor. Right, so all of that becomes the khabar, and then the mubtada is actually hidden, so it's hadha. This is all throughout Arabic language when it comes to headings, chapter headings. It's like that. So they just mention the khabar and the mubtada will be hidden. Alright, so al-mashu is mubtada, ala is jar, khuffain is majroor. Jar or majroor put together becomes muta'alliq to masah. Jaizun is the khabar. Bis-sunnati is jar majroor, muta'alliq connected to jaiz. And then you have min is jar, kulli is majroor, wa mudaf rather, hadath is mawsuf, mujibin is the sifa, mawsuf and the sifa, well, li is jar, wudu is majroor, jar and majroor put together, this is going to be muta'alliq to mujib. And then now we can say, okay, so the mawsuf, sifa, all of that put together becomes the majroor of min, and then jar and majroor, all that. Okay. Idha is dharf, labisa is fi'l plus the fa'il, khuffain is the maf'ul bihi, ala is jar, taharatin is majroor. Right, so thumma is ataf, ahdatha yuhdithu is fi'l plus the fa'il, fa'in, fa is ataf, in is shartiya, kana is fi'l naqis, and ism as well with it. Muqiman is the khabar of kana, and then you have all of that becomes the shart, put that one color, put shart there, and then the masaha is the fi'l plus the fa'il, yawman is the ma'tuf alayhi, and then you have waw is the ataf, laylatan is the ma'tuf plus the ma'tuf alayhi becomes maf'ul fihi, not maf'ul bihi, because you don't wipe the day, right? You wipe for the day. So a quick kind of tip would be that if you can hide the question when, right, when, then you can actually make it into maf'ul. Here it can make sense. When do you wipe? So you wipe for a day, night. In is shart, kana is fi'al plus the ism, musafir is the khabar of kana, all of that becomes the shart. Masaha is fi'al plus the fa'il. Now notice I keep saying fi'al plus fa'il. Who is the fa'il? So this is the hypothetical person. So in fiqh, when they come up with scenarios, they actually come up with a hypothetical person, which you assume is there. Alright, so he wipes. When it says he wipes, who is he? We don't really know who he is, but he is someone who's hypothetically considered, assumed. Thalatha, this is going to be mudaf. Ayam is going to be ma'tuf alayhi, and then waw is going to be ataf. Layaliha, mudaf ilayhi becomes the ma'tuf. All of that becomes the majroor or mudaf ilayhi of thalatha. So again, thalathata ayamin, this will become mansoob because it's maf'ul fihi. Okay, same as before is mentioned. Right, so that's the tarkeeb there. And I mean, by now the tarkeeb should be getting a bit easier now. Right, as we're going to keep going through it, the same kind of tarkeebs you're coming across. Right, and let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the tarkeebs are becoming easier for you? Are you finding them that you can understand them even before I even go over them? And that would be something which would, I hope that's the case, and it would give me as well motivation as well. And if not, maybe I can change the tarkeeb somehow so it can make it easy to understand. Right, so let's look at the scenario. What's happening over here in this masala? So this is a chapter of wiping over leather socks now. So imagine this is the stick man, right? He's got feet. Now normally the Quran says that you have to wash your feet, right? That's what's understood from the Quran, like we mentioned in the beginning of Tahara. So imagine there's another guy now. So this guy actually has some green leather socks, some crazy, funky green leather socks, and he, is going to wipe over these, right? So what we say is that, where does the ruling for wiping over leather socks come from? Like, it's not in the Quran, as in it's not explicitly mentioned in the Quran. The Quran seems to be saying you wash your feet. So Imam Quduri mentions that the Quran is stating of the washing, right, as we mentioned at the beginning of the chapter, but the Sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba, right, they are the ones. So many narrations that the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba wiped over leather socks and didn't wash their feet. That is just, it's just too hard to ignore, right? So this is why the Hanafis allow for a rule which is so widely found amongst the Sahaba and narrated from them by the Prophet ﷺ, that we can take this even if it's not in the Quran, and even if it actually edits rulings in the Quran as well, like we say. Here, ziyada al-kitab. And you learn more about this when you study usul al-fiqh. I have a course on usul al-fiqh, it's about 28 lessons or so. If you're interested, you can enroll for that course. But in Hidayah as well, the explanation of this is given. So all he wants to mention here is basically al-mas' al-khuffayn, wiping over leather socks, is jaiz, is permissible with the sunnah, right? In other words, it's not jaiz in the Quran. It's not like explicitly mentioned in the Quran, nor is it not jaiz in the Quran, right? Basically the Quran doesn't speak about it, but the sunnah does. Min kulli hadathin, from every such hadath, every such minor ritual impurity, mujib lil wudu, which necessitates wudu. Okay, so the wiping here is, when should the wiping be done now? So can you do it any time? Can you do it in any state? Not really, you can't. So there's number one, you can do it when you are in the state of minor ritual impurity. And number two is, you have to have worn them after doing full wudu. So after you've done your wudu and then you wore them and then you broke your wudu basically, that's when you can start wiping over them. But you can't just like one day wake up in the morning, put them on, and the rest of the day just wipe over them. You can't do that, right? So you have to have worn them after performing a proper full wudu. So, right, imagine for instance, like it's 6 o'clock in the morning, you got up for Fajr, for instance, and you've done your wudu for Fajr and you prayed your Fajr, let's say, and after that you put your nice green leather socks on, and then later on in the day, sometime, I don't know when, you broke your wudu, right? Now after that, after you do your wudu, after that, now you can start wiping over them now. Okay, so that's basically the rule. Now He says, so hadath, and for every such hadath which is mujib, which necessitates wudu, in other words, any hadath that doesn't necessitate wudu, necessitates ghusl, you can't wear them basically. You have to take them off. And it has to be worn upon tahara, in the state of tahara, thumma ahdath, and then he broke his wudu. So that's basically what he wants to explain, that you can't wear them if you need ghusl. So if you need ghusl, no, you cannot wear them. And if you were wearing them, let's say you went to sleep and you had a wet dream, or you had sexual intercourse, or anything like that, or you went to states of hayd, then you have to take them off. Okay, so the next mas'ala here is, now, what's the difference between a person who is a resident and a person who's a traveler? So let's say, for example, there's two people here. One guy is living in, like, I'm from Birmingham, so let's say he is living in Birmingham, he's a resident of Birmingham, right, doing his normal Brummie Birmingham kind of things, right, like praying salat and reading Quran. That's what people in Birmingham do. So he was doing his normal resident kind of stuff. So now he can actually wear his socks from the time it starts for 24 hours. So from the time it starts, 1 day and 1 night is the time limit, and after 1 day and 1 night expires, basically after 24-hour finishes, he has to take his socks off. As for travelers, if a person's a traveler, like let's say they've left Birmingham, they've gone to London for a week or so or whatever, they can actually wear it for 72 hours, 3 days and 3 nights. Right, so they've got triple the time that a resident has. So resident 24 hours, but a traveler can actually keep them on for 72 hours and keep on wiping over them since the time starts. Right, so these are some examples of leather socks. Check these out. Right, the leather socks has to have fully cover your foot, by the way. It's going to come a bit later in Quduri as well. So these are some examples. You can't have those because the top part of the foot around the ankles, they can be seen. So you have to have them covered up to the ankles. Ankles have to be covered. Right, so these are all okay. This is okay. The red ones, oh, they look very nice. Red ones. Anybody got red hoofs? Put it in the comments. Right, so even that, as long as there's a zip there, you can close the zip. That's fine. You can have those. Right, so these are some nice examples of leather socks, and some questions for you now. So here are the questions. What are khuffayn? Put in the comments. Number 2, from where do we get the ruling of wiping over leather socks? Where do we get the ruling from? Do we get it from the Quran? Do we get it from the Sunnah? Number 3, what are the conditions for wiping over them? What's the conditions for wiping over leather socks? Are there any conditions? Does it have to be worn on tahara? Giving you hints there. Number 4, state the time limit for a resident and traveler. What's the time limit for them? How long can they wipe over their leather socks for? Put in the comments. And finally, have you ever worn them? Yes, so tell me, have you ever worn them? And how often do you wear them? Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you guys have benefited from this lesson. And if you have any sort of questions, please leave them in the comments below. And I'm your brother Liaqat Zaman. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Press the button and also give a thumbs up, and also press the bell so that every time a new video is made, you guys will get an update or a notification of it. Jazakumullah khair. And if you want to become a patron, which I highly recommend you do, so by becoming a patron, whatever you give, even if it's a few dollars a month, you're going to be supporting this cause. You're going to helping me make more videos, and people around the world will be benefiting from all the content I make, and you're going to get sadaqah jariyah, for everyone that benefits from them. And trust me, lots of people, alhamdulillah, around the world are benefiting from these videos. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. And again, thank you to all my patrons as well for all your support. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you immensely. If you guys want to become a patron, then links in the description below. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.